Pushkaralu Festival. The 12-day Pushkaralu Festival of Telugu speaking people was recently held in Varanasi. Pilgrims worship their ancestors in this festival. It is being organized in Varanasi near Ganga river this year after a gap of 12 years due to a special combination of planetary transits. As per the legend, after severe penance, the devotee Pushkara was blessed by Lord Shiva with the ability to live in water and purify holy rivers. On a request from Brihaspati, Jupiter, Pushkara decided to enter one of the 12 sacred rivers Ganga, Yamuna, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Bhima, Tapti, Narmada, Saraswati, Tungabhadra, Sindhu and Pranahita. Each river has its zodiac sign. The river for each year's festival is decided in accordance with Brihaspati travel from one zodiac sign to another. Tirunelli Temple. The Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage. The Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage INTACH has urged the government to conserve the historically significant structures including the 600-year-old Vilakkumadam. Vilakkumadam is an exquisite granite structure at the Sri Mahavishnu temple at Tirunelveli in Wayanad district, Kerala. It is said that the work was launched by the king of Coorg without the permission of the temple custodian in Kottayam Raja. Later, the Kottayam Raja ordered to stop the construction work and the structure remained untouched afterwards. With its history tracing back to the 15th century AD, involving certain stories related to the architecture and style of the temple, we observe that its key elements have not been valued or taken into account seriously during the renovation process. Tirunelli Temple is one of the most ancient temples in Kerala, located on the foot of Brahmagiri Hills. The temple is dedicated to Lord Vishnu. It is known as Shamala Kshetram and Kashi of the South. Shamala Kshetram and Kashi of the South. It is believed that Lord Brahma established the idol of Lord Vishnu in this temple. Lord Brahma is said to have found the idol on a gooseberry amla tree, locally known as Nelli, thus giving Tirunelli its name. On the western side of the temple is the cave temple Gunika, dedicated to Lord Shiva. Thus, Tirunelli becomes blessed by the unique presence of all the members of the Trinity Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Trinity Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage INTACH. Indian National Trust for Art and Culture Heritage is a non-profit charitable organization registered under Societies Registration Act 1860. It was founded in 1984 with the vision to spearhead heritage awareness and conservation in India. Today, Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage INATCH is recognized as one of the world's largest heritage organizations with over 190 chapters across the country. Headquarters in New Delhi, it operates through various divisions such as architectural heritage, natural heritage, material heritage, intangible cultural heritage, heritage education and communication services, crafts and community cell chapters. INTAC, Indian National for Art and Culture Heritage Academy, Heritage Tourism, Listing Cell and Library, Archives and Documentation Center. In 2007, the United Nations awarded Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage a special consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council. Guru Tej Bahadur. Prakash Purab of Sri Guru Tej Bahadur, the 9th Guru of the Sikhs, was recently celebrated. The Guru was born in Amritsar in 1621 to Mata Nanki and Guru Har Gobind, the 6th Guru who raised an army against the Mughals and introduced the concept of warrior saints. As a boy, Tej Bahadur was called Tyagmal because of his aesthetic nature, nature. He spent his early childhood in Amritsar under the tutelage teachings of Bhai Gurudas, who taught him Gurumukhi, Hindi, Sanskrit, and Indian religious philosophy, while Baba Buddha trained him in swordsmanship, archery, and horse riding. At the age of 13, Tej Bahadur distinguished himself in a battle against Mughal chieftain. His bravery and heroic swordsmanship in the battle earned him the name of Tej Bahadur. Tej is word in Punjabi. He was married to Mata Gujri at Kartarpur in 1632, and he subsequently left for Bakala near Amritsar. He travelled extensively to preach the teachings of Nanak and contributed many hymns to the Guru Granth Sahib, including the slokas, including the saloks or couplets. He is regarded as the savior Guru, as during the region of Mughals there were oppressions in which people were forced to convert to Islam under the Mughal ruler Aurangzeb, and in that period of time he resisted the forced conversions of non-Muslims to Islam. Later, Guru Tegh Bahadur was executed on the orders of Aurangzeb in Delhi 1675. His martyrdom is remembered as the Shahidi Divas every year on 24th November. Yangli Festival. The Yangli Festival of the Tiwa community was recently held in Assam. The Yangli Festival, known as the Lakshmi Puja of the Tiwa people, was organized in the Goa region of the state. The Tiwa community mainly depends on agriculture as their main livelihood, and this festival is also related to the same. During the Yangli Festival, the people pray for a good harvest and ask the gods to protect their crops from pests and natural calamities. Pests and natural calamities. The festival is celebrated once every 5 years by the members of the community. Rice is one of the main crops of the region, and the sowing of seeds for paddy starts soon after the completion of this festival. The festival is celebrated once every 5 years by the members of the community. The festival is the opportunity to welcome the goddesses Lakshmi to the earth and to bless them with a good harvest in the coming years. Ceremonious sacrifices of animals, including poultry and goats, are done on the eve of the puja to welcome the goddesses of the Nabaro, or the granary of the Tiwa people. National Archives of India. The National Archives of India is a repository of the non-current records of the Government of India and holds them in trust for the use of administrators or scholars. Established in 1891 at Calcutta, now Kolkata, as the Imperial Record Department, it is the biggest archival repository in South Asia. It has vast corpus of records, with public records, private papers, oriental records, catastrophic records, and microfilms, which constitute an invaluable source of information. It functions as an attached office of the Department of Culture under the Ministry of Culture. The Director General of Archives heading the department has been given the mandate for the implementation of the Public Records Act 1993. Seed bank at Asola Batti Sanctuary. A seed bank which collects and stores seeds of species of plants that are native to the Aravallis is gradually taking shape at a nursery at the Asola Batti Wildlife Sanctuary. About seed bank. It is an important repository of plant genetic resources for research and agriculture, aimed to supply native plants to the city and reintroducing species that have become rare or hard to find. They store seeds of different plant varieties which are conserved to maintain their genetic diversity and to preserve their ability to adapt to changing environmental conditions. India's seed bank. India has established his own seed storage facility at Changla in Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir. It has been created jointly by Defence Institute of High Altitude Research, Dihar, and the National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources NBPGR in 2010 under the aegis of DRDO. It stores over 5,000 seed accessions. One accession consists of set of seeds of a particular species collected from different geographical and demographic locations. Seed bank in the world. Svalbard Global Seed Vault or Doomsday Vault is the world's largest seed storage facility at Norway. International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture. International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture provides the international legal framework for the establishment of the Svalbard Global Seed Vault in Norway. The treaty provides solutions to achieve food and nutritional security as well as climate resilient agriculture. It formally acknowledges the enormous contribution of indigenous people and smallholder farmers as traditional custodians of the world's food crops. Heat strokes. 11 people died due to heat stroke in Mumbai. 11 people died due to heat stroke in Mumbai. About heat stroke, sunstroke or hyperthermia. It is a result of overheating of the body as a result of exposure of high temperature and humidity or due to prolonged physical exertion at high temperatures. It is considered a medical emergency requiring prompt attention. Why do heat strokes happen? Exposed to extreme heat, the body can't cool itself down accordingly. The hypothalamus, as a part of the brain that controls many bodily functions and is a thermostat of sorts, sets core body temperature. It sets it at about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 37 degrees Celsius. But if your body absorbs more than heat, then it can release. Your internal temperature rises above his set point. Heat exhaustion is one of the three heat related illness, with the heat cramps being the mildest and heat stroke being the most serious. Heat cramps, heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Stage 1, heat cramps. Severe muscle spasms occur as a result of salt and water loss following exposure to heat, most often in the hands, calves and the feet. Muscle spasms can spontaneously stop on their own but lingering. Stage 2, heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion is a serious condition which occurs when the body's core temperature increases to 101 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Symptoms due to headache, low grade fever, nausea or vomiting, increased thirst, generalized weakness, muscle ache and reduced urine output. Heat stroke. The final stage is heat stroke, which is considered a medical emergency. This potentially fatal condition is a result of prolonged heat exposure or physical exertion. A heat stroke is characterized when the body's core temperature reaches 104 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Symptoms due to confusion due to lack of blood flow to the brain, reddened dry skin, lack of sweat, dizziness, organ failure and at times convulsions. First ever census on water bodies in India. The Ministry of Jal Shakti has released the first ever census of water bodies across the nation. Key highlight of the census. About the census. The census was launched under the centrally sponsored scheme irrigation census in convergence with 6th minor irrigation census in order to have comprehensive national database of all water bodies. The census provides a comprehensive inventory of India's water resources, including natural and man-made water bodies like ponds, tanks, lakes and more, and to collect data on the encroachment of water bodies. It covered all the water bodies located in rural areas as well as urban areas that are in use or not in use. The census also took into account all types of uses of water bodies like irrigation, industry, pisciculture, domestic drinking, recreation, religious, groundwater recharge, etc. Did the census cover all the water bodies that fit this definition? 7 specific types of water bodies were excluded from the count. Oceans and lagoons excluded. So these are not part of the census. Rivers, streams, springs, waterfalls, which are free flowing without any bounded storage of water. Swimming pools, covered water tanks created for a specific purpose by a family or household for their own consumption. A water tank constructed by a factory owner for consumption of water as a raw material or consumable. Temporary water bodies created by digging for mining, brick kilns, and construction activities which may get filled during the rainy season, and pucca open water tanks created only for cattle to drink water. So these 7 are not included in the water census. Out of 24.24 lakh water bodies in the country, 97.1% or 23.55 lakh are in rural areas, and only 2.9 or 69,485 are in urban areas. 78% water bodies are man-made water bodies, whereas 22% are natural water bodies. 1.6% water bodies out of all the enumerated water bodies are reported to be encroached, out of which 95.4% are in rural areas and remaining 4.6 in urban areas. 55.2% of water bodies are owned by private entities, while 44.8% are in the domain of public ownership. Out of all public owned water bodies, maximum water bodies are owned by panchayats, followed by state irrigation or state water works department. Out of all private owned water bodies, maximum water bodies are in hands of individual owner or farmer, followed by group of individuals and other private bodies. Sikkim has the least number of bodies with only 134. Sikkim population is around 6 lakh people. Recently, Sikkim government introduced a new program for population increase. Enemy Property Act 1968. Okay, the act was enacted to provide the vesting of enemy property in the custodian of enemy property for India. The custodian is responsible for managing and administering enemy property on behalf of the government. Enemy Property Amendment and Validation Act amended the Enemy Property Act 1968 under the Public Premises Eviction of Unauthorized Occupants Act 1971. Amended Act stated that the successors of those who migrated to Pakistan and China is ceased to have a claim over the properties left behind in India. Enemy Properties Act 1968, Enemy Property Amendment and Validation Act 2017. Enemy definition. It defined as an enemy as a country and its citizens that committed external aggression against India. It allowed for vesting of enemy properties with the custodian after the conflicts with Pakistan and China. Divestment. Under this act, the central government was allowed to order an enemy property to be divested from the custodian and returned to the owner or other person. Transfers by enemies. It prohibited transfer of enemy property by an enemy if it was against public interest or to avoid vesting property in the custodian. Jurisdiction of courts. It allows civil courts and other authorities from entertaining cases against enemy properties or against actions of the central government or the custodian of the act under the act. Powers of custodian. It authorized the custodian to take measures to preserve enemy property and maintain the enemy and his family if they are in India from the income derived by the property. Only from the property income. Okay. That new definition included in 2017 Act legal heirs of enemies even if they are citizens of India or another country which is not an enemy. Nationals of an enemy country who subsequently changed their nationality to that of another country, etc. It allows enemy property to be returned to the owner only if aggrieved person applies to the government and the property is found to be an enemy property. Transfers by enemies. It removes the old provision and prohibits all transfers by enemies. It also renders the transfer that took place before or after the Commencement Act of the 1968 Act as void. Jurisdiction of courts. It bars civil courts and other authorities from entertaining cases against enemy properties or against actions of the central government or the custodians under the Act. Powers of custodian 2017 Act. It permits the custodian to sell, mortgage or lease enemy property. It allows the custodian to fix and collect rent, license fee, etc. from enemy property and evict unauthorized occupants and remove unauthorized construction from such properties. Cinematographic Bill Amendment Bill 2023. The Union Cabinet recently approved the Cinematographic Bill Amendment Bill 2023 aimed at curbing transmission of pirated film content on the internet and introducing new age categories for classifying films. It seeks to amend the Cinematographic Act 1952. About cinema offence and penalty. The act of piracy will be considered an offence legally and will include even transmitting pirated contents punishable. Those engaged in film piracy will attract up to 3 years of imprisonment and 10 lakh rupees penalty. Age classification. It will expand the U by A category which can be viewed by minors with adult supervision. 2. U by A 7 plus, U by A 13 plus and U by A 16 plus. This will allow filmmakers to address mature themes without attracting an A certificate. Okay. Uniformity. It seeks to bring about uniformity categorization of films and content across platforms. Re-examination. The government will be allowed to order the Central Board of Film Certification CBFC for re-examining the films already cleared for exhibition. Appeal mechanism. Film Certificate Appellate Tribunal FCAT, a quasi-judicial body to which an appeal can be made by an aggrieved person against CBFC's order within 30 days from the receipt of that order. Once the appeal has been made, the film must go through the examination committee, the revising committee and FCAT. If it is rejected by all these three bodies, it is considered banned and moving to the court remains the last resort. Article 371F. Former Sikkim Chief Minister alleged that the Finance Bill 2023 has violated Article 371F, which guarantees special provisions to Sikkim. The Financial Bill 2023 redefines Sikkim as any Indian citizen domiciled in Sikkim, extended to them the same benefits as that of the original inhabitants whose forefathers' name were in the 1961 register. Article 371F. Article 371F lists special provisions for Sikkim that are not available to other Indian states. Some of the key provisions are protection of Sikkimese, SIKKIMESE, jurisdiction, powers of president, constitutional safeguards, representation in parliament. About Article 371, it includes special provisions for 11 states, including 6 states of the northeast. These special provisions aim to preserve their tribal culture. Article 371, Maharashtra and Gujarat. 371A, 13th Amendment Act 1962, Nagaland. 371B, Assam. 371C, Manipur. 371D and 371E, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. 371F, Sikkim. 371G, Mizoram. 371H, Arunachal Pradesh. 371I, Goa. 371J, Karnataka. Interoperable criminal justice system. To ensure the timely disposal of criminal cases, the Ministry of Home Affairs e-prosecution portal, part of the interoperable criminal justice system ICJS, has added a new feature that will also fix the accountability for accountability of government lawyers. About ICJS, it was conceptualized by the E-Committee of Supreme Court to enable seamless transfer of data and information among different pillars of the criminal justice system like courts, police, jails and forensic science laboratories from one platform. Implemented by National Crime Records Bureau with National Informatics Center. Aim to provide search and visual analytics over various data sets and capacities to achieve one data once entry across the pillars. Maternity benefits to adoptive mothers. The Supreme Court agreed to hear petition challenging the constitutional validity section 5 class 4 of the Maternity Benefit Act 1961. This section states that the woman who legally adopts a child below the 3 months old will be entitled to 12 weeks of maternity leave. A woman adopting a child older than 3 months gets no benefits. Maternity Benefits Amendment Act 2017. It amended section 5 of the Erstwhile Act to allow 26 weeks of paid leave after childbirth, although only to biological mothers. The amendment inserted section 5 class 4, which said that adoptive or surrogate commissioning mothers legally adopting a child below 3 months will be entitled to a maternity benefit period of 12 weeks from the date of the child is handed over to the mother. Further, it inserted provisions to allow women to work from home under section 5 class 5 where the nature of work assigned to a woman is of such nature. Under the amended act, every establishment have 50 or more employees shall have a facility of Krichi, and the employer must allow 4 visits a day to the Krichi as well as rest intervals for her. Finland joins NATO. Finland joined the NATO military alliance, dealing a major blow to Russia with the historic realignment of the continent triggered by Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. Invasion of Ukraine. The move marked the end of the concept known as Finlandization. The move marked the end of the concept known as Finlandization. Finlandization refers to the policy of strict neutrality between Moscow and the West that Finland following during the decades of the Cold War. The principle of neutrality was rooted in the agreement of friendship, cooperation, and mutual assistance that Finland signed with the USSR in April 1948. Finland and its neighbor Sweden applied for NATO membership soon after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Any new applicant has to be approved by all existing members of the alliance. While Finland is now the 31st NATO member, Sweden's bid is being held up by Turkey and Hungary. Sudan crisis. Fierce fighting broke out between Sudan's army and its paramilitary forces in Khartoum. Operation Kaveri. India has begun Operation Kaveri to bring back its citizens stranded in violence and hit Sudan. Currently, India has positioned two India Force C-130J on standby in Jeddah, and the Indian national vessels INS Sumedha has reached Port Sudan. As many as 3,000 Indians are believed to be stranded in Sudan. A few of them have been evacuated by the French and Saudi Arabian rescue missions, but their exact numbers have not released. More than 181 members of the Hakki-Pikki tribal community from Karnataka are struck in violence hit Sudan. Hakki-Pikki tribal community, 180 members. The government is making efforts to bring them back. Who are Hakki-Pikki? The Hakki-Pikki is a tribe that lives in several states in West and South India, especially near forest areas. They are believed to hail originally from the bordering districts of Gujarat and Rajasthan. Hakki-Pikkis, Hakki in Kannada means bird, Pikki means catchers, are a semi-nomadic tribe traditionally of bird catchers and hunters. According to 2011 census, the Hakki-Pikki population in Karnataka is 11,892. They are non-vegetarians. The eldest son in a family is not supposed to cut his hair so that he can be identified easily. The tribe prefers cross-cousin marriages. According to locals, the usual age of marriage is 18 for women and 22 for men. The society is matriarchal, where the groom gives dowry to the bride's family. Clans. The Hakki-Pikki move in groups from place to place in search of livelihood. They are divided into 4 clans called Gujaratiya, Panwar, Kaliwala and Mewaras. These clans can be equated with castes in traditional Hindu society. In the olden days, they were hierarchy among the clans, with the Gujaratiya and at the top and the Mewaras at the bottom. Language. Despite being surrounded by Dravidian languages and living in southern India, the community speaks Indo-Aryan language. Their mother tongue was designated Wagri by scholars. They communicate in Wagri at home but speak in Kannada when conducting daily business. UNESCO has listed Wagri as one of the endangered languages. UNESCO has listed Wagri as one of the endangered languages. First Global Buddhist Summit. The first Global Buddhist Summit was held in Delhi. The aim of the summit is to set up a forum for the lay Buddhist scholars and Dharma masters. The Ministry of Culture, in collaboration with its grantee body, International Buddhist Confederation, hosted the Global Buddhist Summit (GBS). IBC is a global organization representing the diverse Buddhist traditions from around the world. It was established in 2011 in New Delhi. Aim: promoting and preserving the teachings and the practice of Buddhism, fostering inter-Buddhist dialogue cooperation, promoting peace, harmony and understanding among different religions and cultures. Theme of the summit: responses to contemporary challenges, philosophy to praxis, praxis. Defense and security. Integration of Vibrant Village program with the PM Gati Shakti mega project along China border. Centre's ambitious Vibrant Villages program will be integrated with the Prime Minister's Gati Shakti mega project. Vibrant Village program was launched to enhance infrastructure in villages along India's border with China in states are union territories like Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Uttarakhand, Arunachal Pradesh and Ladakh. The Prime Minister Gati Shakti National Master Plan was announced in 2021. It is essentially a digital platform to bring 16 ministries including railways and roadways together for integrated planning and coordinated implementation of infrastructure connectivity projects. FEMA versus FERA. FERA enacted in 1973. FEMA enacted in 1999. FERA to regulate foreign exchange transactions and payments. FEMA to facilitate external trade and payments to promote the orderly development and maintenance of foreign exchange market in India and to regulate the transactions related to foreign exchange. FERA Act emphasis control and regulation. FEMA management and liberalization. 1999. Okay. FERA more strict and restrictive. FEMA more liberal and flexible. FERA more severe. FEMA more moderate. Penalties and fines only. FEMA imprisonment, penalties and fines. FERA rule based. FEMA principle based. FERA through FERA courts. FEMA through FEMA adjudicating authorities and appellate tribunal. FERA was seen as a hindrance to foreign investment in India. FEMA seeks to encourage foreign investments in India by simplifying the rules and regulations related to foreign exchange transactions. FERA enacted in 1973. FEMA 1999. Sagar Setu app. The Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways has launched the app version of National Logistics Portal Marine called Sagar Setu. The app covers features like login module, service catalog, common application format, letter of credit, bank guarantee, certification and track and trace, etc. It will provide real-time information of activities that are generally not in reach of the importer, exporter and customs broker, including vessel related information, gate, container, freight stations and transactions on fingertips. It also enables digital transactions for payments required for the clearance process of import and export like container freight station charges, shipping line charges, transportation charges, etc. Sati portal. The Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare recently launched the Sati seed traceability, authentication and holistic inventory portal on mobile app. It has been developed by National Informatics Center in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare on the theme of Uttam Beej Samriddhi Kisan. Uttam Beej Samriddhi Kisan. It is a centralized online system for seed traceability, authentication and inventory designed to deal with the challenges of seed production, quality seed identification and seed certification. Sati portal will ensure quality assurance system, identify the source of seed in the seed production chain through a QR code. The system will consist of integrated 7 verticals of the seed chain: research organization, seed certification, seed licensing, seed catalog, dealer to farmer sales, farmer registration and seed DBT. Seeds with valid certification can only be sold by valid licensed dealers to centrally registered farmers who will receive subsidy through DBT directly into their pre-validated bank accounts. India Handmade Portal. The Ministry of Textiles has been developed an e-commerce portal called India Handmade Portal for handicrafts and handloom sector. Handloom refers to the process of weaving cloth using a manually operated loom, while handicrafts are items by skilled artisans using traditional techniques. The portal offers a wide range of products including clothing, home decor, jewelry, accessories and more. All the products are handmade by skilled artisans. Many of the products sold in the portal are made using eco-friendly and sustainable materials, making them a great choice for those who are conscious about their impact of the environment. Overall, it is a one-stop shop for all things handmade in India and a great way to discover and support Indian artisans and their crafts. It also provides free handholding of sellers from registration till order fulfillment to ensure ease of doing business. Dabba trading. Dabba means box. Trading, also known as box trading or bucket trading, refers to informal trading that it takes place outside the purview of the stock exchanges. Traders bet on stock price movements. Bet stock price movements without incurring a real transaction to take place. To take physical ownership of a particular stock is done on an exchange. It is basically a form of gambling centered on stock price movements. For example, an investor places a bet on stock at a price point say 1000 rupees. If the price rose to 1500, he or she would make a gain of 500 rupees. However, if the price point falls to 900, the investor would have to pay the difference to the Dabba broker. Thus, the broker's profit equates the investor loss, vice versa. The equations are particularly consequential during bull runs or bear market. The primary purpose of such trades is stay outside the purview of the regulatory mechanism, and thus transactions are facilitated using cash, and the mechanism is operated using unrecognized software terminals. Manamadurai pottery, Tamil Nadu. Manamadurai pottery, Tamil Nadu. Manamadurai in Sivagangal district is known for pottery making. The Vaigai river enriches the clay used for the Manamadurai pottery. A unique type of clay is sourced from water bodies like Nedukulam, Neta, Purakki, Sundaranadappu, Seikalatur to make these pots. While making these pots, the 5 elements of the nature, namely earth, water, fire and sun, are used. The basic material of pottery is mud, which represents earth. Mud mixed with water. This is followed by banking in fire, adding the third element. The air percolates through the pores in the clay, marking the fourth element, and finally the cavity enclosed by the pot or any related article represents space. GI tags from Varanasi. The Banarasi pan, famous for its delicious taste and make, which involves several ingredients, received a GI tag, global indication tag. Along with it, Banarasi Langda mango, Ramanagar Banta brinjal and Adamchini rice also received GI tags for the riverine city Varanasi in the Bhojpur Purvanchal region. Before this, the Kashi and the Purvanchal region had 18 GI products, including Banaras brocades and saris, handmade Badohi carpets, Mirzapur handmade carpets, Banaras metal reposy craft, Varanasi Gulabi Meena curry, Varanasi wooden lacquerware and toys, Nizamabad black patri, Banaras glass beads, Varanasi soft stone jali work, etc. LIGO India project. LIGO India project. The Union Cabinet approved to set up a gravitational wave detection facility in Maharashtra, Hingoli district. The facility's construction is expected to be completed by 2030. LIGO India received the central government's in principle approval in February 2016. Since then, the project reached several milestones towards selecting and acquiring a site and building the observatory. About LIGO, Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. It is the world's most powerful observatory that exploits the physical properties of light and space itself to detect and understand the origins of gravitational waves. LIGO uses a technology called interferometry to detect gravitational waves. It consists of two identical L-shaped interferometers. When a gravitational wave passes through in the interferometer, it causes tiny changes in the length of the arms, resulting in changes in the interference pattern of the laser beams. By precisely measuring these changes, LIGO can detect and characterize gravitational waves. LIGO has made several additional detections of the gravitational waves from various sources, including binary black hole mergers, binary neutron star mergers, and other cosmic events. About LIGO India project, the observatory will be the fifth of its kind, made to the exact specifications of the twin LIGO and in Louisiana and Washington in the US. LIGO India will work in tandem with them. Besides the US, such gravitational wave observatories are currently operational in Europe and Japan. It will be built by the Department of Atomic Energy and the Department of Science and Technology with a MOU with the US National Science Foundation. The US will provide key components for the lab worth around 560 crore rupees. What is LIGO to Virgo? Apart from the two interferometers based in the US, there is a third interferometer as well. It is located in Santo Stefano, Italy, and known as LIGO Virgo. Working in collaboration, the three facilities help confirm that any signal one facility picks up is a true gravitational wave detection and not random noise. In January 2020, LIGO Virgo detected a collision between a black hole and a neutron star. LIGO Kagra is a gravitational wave detector located underground in Gifu Prefecture, Japan. It is Asia's first gravitational wave observatory. Why a fifth LIGO observatory needed? Extremely low strength and gravitational waves makes their detection very difficult. Therefore, LIGO India is part of the plan to expand the network of gravitational wave observations in order to increase the chances of detecting these waves from anywhere in the observable universe. This will improve the accuracy and quality of information taken from them. JUICE mission, Jupiter ICY Moons Explorer mission, to be launched by European Space Agency. It will spend at least 3 years making detailed observations of the gained gaseous planet Jupiter and 3 of its largest moons, Ganymede, Callisto and Europa. It will understand if the oceans of these icy moons could have ever been suitable habitats for life. Jupiter ICY Moons Explorer mission means JUICE mission. Jupiter ICY Explorer mission, European Space Agency. Lockbit ransomware. It has been found that Lockbit ransomware were found to be targeting Mac devices. About ransomware. Lockbit ransomware. Ransomware is a type of malicious software malware that encrypts the files on a victim computers or network, making them inaccessible, and demands a ransom payment in exchange for the decryption key. The ransom is typically demanded in cryptocurrency, which makes it difficult to trace. Ransomware attack mechanism. Ransomware attacks can be carried through various means such as email phishing, exploit kits, or remote desktop protocol (RDP) attacks. About Lockbit ransomware, formerly known as ABCD ransomware. It was first appeared in 2019 and is called a crypto virus because it asks for payment in cryptocurrency to unlock the files. One of the distinguishing features of Lockbit is its use of double extortion tactics. In addition to encrypting the victim's data, Lockbit also steals sensitive information from the victim's system and threatens to release if the ransom is not paid. It focuses mostly on enterprises and government organizations rather than individuals. It has been used to target companies in many different countries, including US, China, India, Ukraine, and Europe. Biotechnology. T cells and B cells. B cells produce antibodies to fight bacteria and viruses. T cells, it attacks cells on the body to have become cancerous or that were overtaken by viruses. B cells, it originates in bone marrow and also mature in the bone marrow. B cells, its lifespan is short. T cells, its lifespan is long. It originates in the bone marrow but travel the thymus and mature there. It travels in the thymus and mature there. Aptamers, a team of researchers developed an electronic biosensor based on DNA aptameters that can detect biomarkers in whole blood samples without use of reagents. About aptamers, they are small, usually 20 to 60 nucleotides, single stranded RNA and DNA, oligonucleotides able to find target molecules with high affinity and specificity. They are often referred to as chemical antibodies due to their ability to selectively recognize to bind a wide range of targets including proteins, nucleic acids, small molecules and even whole cells. Aptameters have several advantages over traditional antibodies as molecular recognition tools. They are typically smaller in size, which allows for better tissue penetration and access to targets in tight spaces. They have found applications in fields such as cancer therapy, infectious disease diagnosis, environmental monitoring and personalized medicine, among others. Tropospheric emissions monitoring of pollution, TEMPO. Tropospheric emissions on monitoring of pollution, TEMPO was NASA's instrument launched by using SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. What is TEMPO? TEMPO is a NASA Earth Venture instrument EVA mission designed to measure air pollution from space. It will be placed in geostationary orbit. Where it will monitor major air pollutants across North America. Goal of the mission: to provide high resolution near real time measurements of air quality parameters over a large spatial domain with a focus on monitoring emissions of pollutants in the troposphere, the lowest layer of Earth's atmosphere, where weather occurs and where most air pollution impacts human health and the environment. Features: TEMPO will measure a variety of air pollutants including nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, formaldehyde, aerosols and ozone O3. It will also help in the study of the movement of pollution from forest fires and volcanoes and even the effects of fertilizer application. It will join South Korea's geostationary environment monitoring spectrometer and the European Space Agency's Sentinel-4 satellite. Later, it will become an air quality monitoring satellite constellation that will track pollution across the northern hemisphere. Genome India project. Taking inspiration from the Human Genome Project, the Department of Biotechnology (DBT) launched this ambitious project in January 2020. The project has been described by the researchers as the first scratching the surface of India's vast genetic diversity. Scope and objectives: the Genome India project aims to collect and analyze the genomic data of over 10,000 individuals from Pan India, representing the diverse population of the country. The production seeks to identify genetic variations and correlate with them with the health outcomes, disease risk and drug responses. Research areas: the Genome India project focuses on understanding the genetic basis of common diseases such as diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, cancer and genetic disorders. It also aims to study pharmacogenomics, which involves understanding how genetic variations influence individual response to drugs. The project also aims to explore the genetic diversity and evolutionary history of Indian populations, including identifying population with specific genetic markers. Data collection and analysis: the Genome India project involves collecting genomic data from participants through various methods including DNA sequencing, genotyping and phenotypic data collection such as health history, lifestyle and environment factors. The collected data is then analyzed using advanced bioinformatic tools and techniques. About genome: the genome is the complete set of genetic material or DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid present in an organism. It contains all the genetic information necessary of organism's growth, development, functioning and reproduction. The genome is organized into individual units called genes, which are called responsible for encoding proteins, the building blocks of cells and key functional molecules in biological process. The human genome consists of about 3 billion base pairs of DNA, which are organized into 23 pairs of chromosomes. Genomes are composed of DNA molecules which are made up of nucleotides. Genomes are composed of DNA molecules which are made up of nucleotides. Nucleotides are the basic units of DNA, consisting of a sugar molecule, deoxyribose, a phosphate group and one of 4 nitrogen bases, adenine A, cytosine C, guanine G or thymine T. The sequence of the bases of in DNA determines the genetic code which provides instructions for the synthesis of proteins, the functional molecules that carry out most of the task in cells. Indian Space Policy. Space Policy. The Indian Space Policy 2023 is a comprehensive set of guidelines that outlines the roles and responsibilities of different entities in the Indian sector. Key features: it aims to encourage and institutionalize private sector participation in India's space sector, with the ISRO primarily focusing on research and development of advanced space technologies. Key features of Indian Space Policy 2023: creates 4 distinct but related entities. These 4 entities are ISRO, InSpace, New Space India Limited (NSIL), Department of Space. Private companies allowed to undertake end-to-end space activity. These activities include launching and operating satellites, developing rockets, creating ground stations, building spaceports and mobile launching platforms, and providing services like communication, remote sensing and navigation nationally and internationally. Other roles envisaged for private entities: private entities also have been encouraged to develop space situational awareness capabilities. Space situational awareness capability is a mechanism to track objects in space and avoid collision of satellites and space stations with each other or space debris. The policy also says that private players can engage in commercial recovery of asteroids or space resources. Private participation will be limited to Indian companies. Role of the INSPACe, Indian National Space Promotion for and Authorization Center. INSPACe will be the single window agency for authorization of all space activities. It will also develop space industry standards, promote identified space activities, and work with academia to widen the space ecosystem and enable industry academia linkages. Role of ISRO. ISRO meanwhile have been asked to move away from routine activities and focus on research and innovation. This will mean developing new space technologies and applications in order to maintain India's edge in the areas of space infrastructure, space transportation, space applications, capacity building, and human space flight. Green deposits. RBI has announced a framework for accepting green deposits by banks and deposit taking non-banking finance companies (NBFCs). The framework will come into effect from June 1, 2023. The green deposits are interest-bearing deposits which shall be denominated in Indian rupees, and the proceeds will be allocated to eligible green activities or projects. The central bank has identified 9 sectors in which the proceeds from these green bonds must be used. They are renewable energy, energy efficiency, clean transportation, climate change adaptation, sustainable water and waste management, pollution prevention and control, green buildings, sustainable management of living natural resources, and land use and terrestrial and aquatic biodiversity conservation. Some of the sectors which are excluded are nuclear power generation, direct waste incineration, alcohol, weapons, tobacco, gaming, palm oil industries, hydropower plants larger than 25 megawatts, among others. The RBI regulated entities have been told to put in place a comprehensive board approved policy on green deposits, laying down all aspects in detail for the issuance and allocation of such deposits. A copy of the policy should be made available on the website of the regulated entities. The allocation of funds raised through green deposits by REs during a financial year shall be subject to an independent third party verification or assurance, which shall be done on annual basis. National Logistics Portal Marine (NLP). NLP is a one-stop platform aimed at connecting all the stakeholders of the logistics community using IT to improve efficiency and transparency. It aims to reduce regulatory complexities and enhance the ease of doing business by moving towards user-friendly, paperless trade. The activities of NLP Marine are categorized into 4 distinct verticals, viz. Carrier, cargo, banking and finance, regulatory bodies, and participating government agencies. NLP will be a single window for all trade processes of the logistics sector spread across the country, covering all modes of transport in the waterways, roadways and airways. It is a one-stop marketplace where all logistics stakeholders are integrated for easier, speedier and competitive services, thereby promoting trade and growth. Foreign Trade Policy 2023. Union Minister of Commerce and Industry launched the Foreign Trade Policy 2023. Foreign Trade Policy 2023 is a policy document which is based on continuity of time-tested schemes facilitating exports. It has replaced the old policy that had been placed since 2015. It seeks to take India's exports to $2 trillion by 2030. $2 trillion by 2030. Foreign Trade Policy. The new policy will have no sunset date and ending date, and it will be tweaked based on the emerging world trade scenario and industry feedback. While the policy will be open-ended, the scheme sanctioned under it will be time-bound. The policy had opened up a new era of potential exports called merchanting trade. Merchanting trade refers to shipment of goods from one foreign country to another foreign country without touching Indian ports, involving an Indian intermediary. This will also enable exports of restricted goods. The key approach to the policy is based on 4 pillars: incentive to remission, export promotion through collaboration exporters, state districts and Indian missions, ease of doing business, reduction in transaction cost and initiatives, emerging areas, e-commerce, developing districts as export hubs, and streamlining SCOMET policy. Key highlights of FTP 2023: process re-engineering and automation, towns of export excellence, recognition of exporters, promoting export from the districts, streamlining SCO MET policy. There is a wider outreach and understanding of SCO MET, special chemicals, organisms, materials, equipment and technologies among stakeholders. Fifth, facilitating e-commerce exports. Sixth, facilitation under export promotion of capital goods EPCG scheme. Seventh, facilitation under advance authorization scheme. Eighth, amnesty scheme. Army's Commander Conference 2023. Army's Commander Conference is an apex level biannual event which is an institutional platform for conceptual level deliberations culminating making important policy decisions for the Indian Army. Recently, the first ACC for the year 2023 was held. For the first time, the conference was conducted in hybrid format. WTO panel rules against India. The dispute settlement panel of the WTO had ruled that India had violated global trading rules in a dispute with the European Union, Japan and Taiwan over import duties on IT products. Organizational structure of WTO. Highest authority, ministerial conference. Topmost is the ministerial conference, which has to meet at least once every 2 years. The ministerial conference can take decisions on all matters under any of the multilateral trade agreements. Kudim's agitation in Bengal and Jharkhand for scheduled tribe status. The Kudmi community had been sitting on protest in the area of West Bengal and Jharkhand. The community was demanding scheduled tribe status under the inclusion of their language in the eighth schedule. Criteria to being in the process. To establish whether a community is a ST, the government looks at several criteria including its ethnological traits in traditional characteristics, distinctive culture, geographical isolation and backwardness. Criticisms of the existing criteria for granting SC status. Absolute criteria. These set of criteria were out by local community nearly 60 years ago and hence may have become obsolete considering the process of transition and acculturation over the time. The new criteria under the government's consideration included socio-economic, historical, geographical isolation, distinct language or dialect, presence of core culture relating to lifestyle, marriage, songs, dance, paintings, folklore, endogamy or in case of exogamy, marital relationship primarily with other STs. The criterion for scheduling of a community as ST and not for determining SC status of any individual. National Medical Devices Policy 2023. The Union Cabinet approved the National Devices Policy 2023. Salient features of National Medical Devices Policy 2023. Vision: accelerated growth with a patent-centric approach to emerge as the global leader in the manufacturing and innovation of medical devices by achieving 10 to 12% share in the expanding global market over the next 25 years. To help medical devices sector grow from present $11 billion to $50 billion by 2030. minutes topic select చేసుకుని చదువుదాం. Niti Aayog 11th 68. Niti Aayog, transformation of aspirational districts, expediting the transformation of 117 most backward districts across 28 states through the convergence of government programs and schemes to reduce the disparity between districts. Beneficiaries: most backward districts select based on a composite index of deprivation constructed using a range of socio-economic indicators. The districts are chosen by senior officials of the union government in consultation with state officials. Features: convergence between central and state schemes, collaboration amongst center, state, district administration, development partners and citizens, competition between districts. Core focus areas: health and nutrition, education, agriculture and water resources, financial inclusion and skill development and basic infrastructure with different weights. Champions of change dashboard to measure the progress of aspirational districts program. States are the main drivers at the central level, anchored by Niti Aayog. Officers at joint secretary or additional secretary level have been nominated to become the central Prabari officers of each district. States have been requested to form a committee under chief secretary to implement the program. Atal Innovation Mission to create and promote a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship across the length and breadth of our country. Atal Tinkering Lab ATL, Atal Incubation Centers, Atal Community Innovation Centers, the Atmanirbhar Bharat Arise Atal New India Challenges to promote research and innovation and increase competitiveness of Indian startups and MSMEs. The Atmanirbhar Bharat Arise Atal New India Challenges, driven by Indian Space Research Organization ISRO, 4 ministries: Ministry of Defence, Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The Mentor India program, skilled professionals provide pro bono mentoring free of cost to young ATL innovators. Atal Innovation Innovators. అంతేనా? Other initiatives: Setu, self-employment and talent utilization, increasing the number of startups, particularly in technology-driven areas by incubation and extending other services like techno-financial facilitation and mentoring to reduce the rate of unemployment in the country. Youth Collab, it aims to accelerating social entrepreneurship and innovation in Youth India. Features: the first phase of Youth Collab will focus on 6 SDGs and SDG 5 gender equality, SDG 6 clean water and sanitation, SDG 7 affordable and clean energy, SDG 8 decent work and economic growth, SDG 12 sustainable consumption and production, SDG 13 climate action. Components: Youth Collab will convene social innovation challenges at the national and subnational level, which will invite young people at the age 18 to 29 years and startups to showcase their proposed ideas and solutions to tackle some of the region's biggest social challenges. Implementation: it was launched by Atal Innovation Mission by Niti Aayog and the United Nations Development Programme UNDP India. Ministry of Social Justice and Environment, Sugamya Bharat Abhiyan Accessible India Campaign, enhancing accessibility and creating awareness for a universal barrier free movement for persons with disabilities. Sugamya Bharat Abhiyan. Components: built up environment like government offices with accessibility features like ramps, transportation system like wheelchair friendly public transport, information and communication ecosystems like computers using voice recognition software. Associated conventions and acts, inspired by United Nations Convention on Rights for Persons with Disabilities 2007, India is a signatory in this convention. The action plans and targets of the campaign have been derived from Goal 3 of the Incheon Strategy Disability Inclusive Development Goals, which aims to make the right real. The Rights for Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, accessibility became a right for the Divyangyan, was passed to give a legal foundation to the campaign. Important targets: converting 50% of all the government buildings of national capital and state capitals into fully accessible buildings, conducting accessibility audits of the all international and domestic airports and converting them into fully accessible international airports, ensuring that 50% of railway stations and 25% of government owned buses in the country are converted into fully accessible railway stations, ensuring that at least 50% of all public documents issued by central government and the state governments meet accessibility standards, developing and adoption of national standards on captioning and sign language interpretation in consultation with national media authorities, ensuring that 25% of all public television programs aired by government channels to meet these standards. Self-employment scheme for rehabilitation of manual scavengers, to rehabilitate the remaining manual scavengers and their dependents in alternative occupations. Beneficiaries: manual scavengers and their dependents. The provision of employment as a manual scavengers and the rehabilitation rules 2013 provide that there shall be no restriction regarding the caste for being identified as manual scavengers. Identification by concerned state governments through surveys by urban bodies, urban local bodies or gram panchayats. It is a central sector scheme, completely central sector. Implementation: the scheme will be implemented by National Safai Karamcharis Finance and Development Corporation. National Safai Karamcharis Finance and Development. Features: coverage of manual scavengers for health insurance under the Ayushman Bharat Yojana. One-time cash assistance of 40,000 rupees to identified manual scavenger. Subsidy and concessional loans for projects. Skill development training for up to 2 years with a stipend. SMILE scheme for support for marginalized individuals for livelihood and enterprises. SMILE scheme for marginalized scheme for support for marginalized individuals for livelihood and enterprises to provide welfare and rehabilitation to the transgender community and the people engaged in begging. It is a central sector scheme. SMILE is a central sector scheme. Scholarship for transgender students studying in 9th and till post graduation. Skill development and livelihood under PM Daksh scheme. Gender reaffirmation surgeries through selected hospitals in convergence with Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. The housing facility in the forms of Garima Greh GREH. The provision of a transgender protection cell in each state to monitor case of offences. The national portal and helpline. Comprehensive rehabilitation of persons engaged in the act of begging, survey and identification, mobilization, rescue or shelter home and comprehensive resettlement. Ministry of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions. EHRMs, Electronic Human Resource Management System. It is a standard ICT solution to the state or central government organizations for better personal management through electronic service records, resulting in a fully automated human resource management system. Implementation: EHRM Center has been set up a centralized facilitation center. A software development team has been constituted by NIC for the development and facilitation of EHRMs. It has spread across several organizations. Components: it will bring all employees of Government of India on the employee portal so that all process of personal management from hiring to retiring will be on digital platform. Manual system of handling personal management will be dispensed with. The software will give a comprehensive and combined view of the human resource and deployed by the government. It will also provide HR analytics by the government to the government. The employees will not be able to see their details with respect to service book, leave, GPF, salary, etc., but also apply for different kind of claims or reimbursements, loans or advances, leave encashment, LTC advances, tour, etc. Single platform. In a single platform. Jal Jeevan Mission, potable water to every rural household through tap water connection. Potable water, Jal Jeevan Mission. Center and state is 90:10 for Himalayan and northeastern states, 50:50 for other states. Features: Jal Jeevan Mission on integrated demand and supply side management of water at the local level. Creation of local infrastructure for source sustainability measures as mandatory elements like rainwater harvesting, groundwater recharge, and management of household wastewater reuse is undertaken in convergence with other government programs or schemes. The mission is based on a community approach to water. Every village will prepare a village action plan (VAP), which will have 3 components: water source and its maintenance, water supply, and grey water domestic wastewater management. According to economic survey, as a result of the mission, of the 19.4 crore rural households, 11 crore households are getting tap water in their homes. Namami Gange program, integrated conservation mission launched with the twin objective of reduction of pollution and conservation and regeneration of river Ganga. Components: creating sewerage treatment capacity, creating riverfront development, river surface cleaning, biodiversity conservation, afforestation, public awareness, industrial effluent monitoring. Ganga Gram. The project aims to deliver an integrated approach that leads to holistic development of villages situated on the banks of the river Ganga through the villagers' active participation. Dam rehabilitation and improvement project. To improve the safety and operational performance of selecting existing dams and associated appurtenances in a sustainable manner. Features: a web-based tool called Dam Health and Rehabilitation Monitoring Application Dharma has been developed to capture essential data for all dams and use it for appropriate monitoring and development of rehabilitation protocols. This is a step towards applying artificial intelligence AI in dam safety to smartly manage existing water assets. Funding: Phase 2 and Phase 3 of the scheme are co-financed by two multilateral funding agencies, World Bank and Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank (AIB). Har Ghar Jal. It aims to provide tap water sustainable in every household by 2030 as per the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Ganga Gram. It is an integrated approach for the holistic development of villages situated on the banks of the river, the holy river, with the active participation of villages. It is a project under the Namami Gange program. Implementation: Ministry of Jal Shakti in collaboration with the National Mission on Clean Ganga. Mission Poshan 2.0. An integrated nutrition support program seeks to address challenges of malnutrition in children, adolescent girls, pregnant women and lactating mothers through a strategic shift in nutrition content and delivery, and by creating a convergent ecosystem to develop and promote practices that nurture health, wellness and immunity. Poshan 2.0 will bring three important programs or schemes under its ambit: Anganwadi services, earlier ICDS scheme for adolescent girls and Poshan Abhiyan. Features: Poshan 2.0 will seek to optimize the quality and delivery of food under the supplementary nutrition program. It will contribute to the country's human capital development, address malnutrition challenges, promote nutrition awareness and good eating habits for sustainable health and well-being, and address nutrition related deficiencies through key strategies. It shall focus on maternal nutrition, infant and young children, child feeding norms, treatment of MAM or SAM and wellness through Ayush. Components: converge. The mission ensures the convergence of all nutrition related schemes of MWCD on the target population. ICDS CA software based tracking of nutritional status will be done. Poshan tracker is being used for dynamic identification of stunting, wasting and underweight prevalence among children, last mile tracking of nutrition service delivery. Mission Vatsalya. To secure a healthy and happy childhood for every child in the country, to ensure opportunities to enable them to discover their full potential and assist them in flourishing in all respects in a sustained manner, foster a sensitive, supportive, synchronized ecosystem for the development of children, assist states and UTs in delivering the mandate of the Juvenile Justice Act 2015 and achieve the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). It promotes family-based non-institutional care of children in difficult circumstances based on the principle of institutionalization of children as a measure of last resort. The Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act 2015 provisions under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 from the basic framework for the implementation of the mission. Components: training and capacity building, improve the functioning of statutory bodies, strengthen service delivery structures, upscale institutional care and services, encourage non-institutional community based care, emergency outreach services. PM Swanidhi scheme. It is a microcredit facility to provide affordable working capital loan to street vendors to resume their livelihoods that had been adversely affected due to COVID-19. As per Economic Survey, around 45 lakh loan applications have been sanctioned, out of which around 35 lakh loan has been disbursed. It is completely central sector scheme.